Welcome to Old Mackinac Point Lighthouse. My name is Tyler. I'm one of the historical interpreters here. This is going to be our fog whistle demonstration. We'll take about 10 minutes, tell you a little bit about the history of this fog whistle, and we'll sound it off for you at the very, very end. So, no need to plug your ears quite yet. I'll let you know when that happens. But, the fog whistle and the subsequent fog horn that was here at Old Mackinac Point was very, very important for navigation on the Great Lakes. If you've been out here, in the springtime especially, it can get quite foggy on the Straits of Mackinac, and it makes it really hard to see anything out here. That means our light is not doing anything. It's not doing any work. You can't see it at all. Same thing with the Mackinac Bridge. The fog can get so foggy that you can't see the bridge at all. So, instead of using light, we are going to use sound to help those sailors navigate the Great Lakes safely. Now, the original fog signal building actually predates our lighthouse by about 2 years. It was constructed in 1890. It would have been right where these benches are today, and it would have looked like our shipwreck museum there. That brown building in the back. Now, as you can tell, it's not here anymore. It did get moved for a couple of reasons, but let's talk about that original building first. So, you want that sound to go out towards the lake here. Well, with the original fog signal building, they didn't quite have that in mind. They put the whistle on the south side of the wall on that lighthouse, or on that fog whistle building. And that sound went straight into Mackinac City and did not help very much out on the Great Lakes here. So then they moved it, and in a lot of the pictures you'll see of the original fog signal building, you'll see two whistles on top of the building, which did not help either. Half of that sound still went out into Mackinac City. The other half going out here to the Straits of Mackinac, and you're still losing quite a bit of it. Now, by the time they finished constructing this lighthouse in 1892, the fog whistle building is too close to the lighthouse. A lot of that sound gets blocked by that big brick building there. And so, something has to give. They either have to move the lighthouse or move the fog whistle building. Now, which one do you think they ended up doing? Moving the fog whistle building, yeah. So they wanted to move it to where it currently stands today, but there's a couple problems there. First of all, the U.S. government did not own that land originally. If you look at our white picket fence here, you'll see that bend in the fence. That did not originally extend out that far. It was a right degree angle there, cut all the way to the back of the property. So you can't just move the fog whistle building out onto that strip of land without permission from the Mackinac City Arts. The city did not want to give up that land for free, and the federal government did not want to pay for it. So that led to a 12-year-long court debate over who had the right to this land. In about 1906, they finally figured out federal government pays $400 for it, and they can finally begin construction on the fog whistle building. This is the original one that was constructed in 1906. Now, inside the fog whistle building, you would have had two steam boilers. There's two of them just for that redundancy in case one breaks down, or as we'll talk about a little later, in case you have to keep this thing running for a week. So you have those two steam boilers in there. They build up steam, and the clockwork mechanism inside will release the steam on a schedule when it is in motion. Each fog signal building and each lighthouse had its own sound pattern that helps sailors to determine where they are on their journey, just like our day mark and our flashing pattern up in our lighthouse. So, when we move down on the sidewalk here, we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But the whistle, they were smart this time and put it on the north end of the wall, so all of that sound goes out onto the straits. All the sailors hear it in the fog with that low visibility. Eventually, that steam whistle gets replaced with a diaphragm horn. That would have been placed right atop that little triangle there on the building. That sound would have still gone out. It was powered by compressed air, which is what our modern whistle is also powered by, is compressed air. That just helps reduce the corrosion on our whistle. Any questions so far before we move on to the second half of our presentation? Alright, if you'll follow me down to the lake here, you can get on the sidewalk, all along the fence here. Take a look at our whistle. You don't want to get too close to it. It will be quite loud, so stay a little over that way.
Over here.
Now, I did hint earlier that this whistle was, at one point, going for an entire week. That would have been during a wildfire up in the Upper Peninsula. All of that smoke causes low visibility. It got blown down here into the Straits of Mackinac and caused low visibility for an entire week. Now, I wouldn't have wanted to be here personally for that. I don't know about you folks, but that just sounds miserable. But they had to do it. Those ships still had to sail through the straits, and they had to do it safely. So, like I said earlier, all of these fog whistles at different lighthouses would have had unique sound patterns. Here at Old Mackinac Point, our lighthouse pattern was 5 seconds of noise, followed by 17 seconds of silence, followed by 5 seconds of noise, and 33 seconds of silence. Can anyone tell me how long that is? It's about a minute. That's a minute. So we will blast our fog whistle for you 3 times. We'll do that first pattern, and then we will blow it for another 5 seconds. Now, they would have been having this fog whistle go for as long as it was needed. It was up to the lighthouse keeper to determine how long they needed the fog whistle to go for, and that's going to depend entirely subjectively on their visibility. So today would probably not be a day that you want to sound the fog whistle if you were doing it for anything other than a demonstration. You can see the Upper Peninsula there. You can see Mackinac Island, Round Island, and Bois Blanc Island just fine. But if any of those were obscured by fog, that would be one way that the keeper would determine that it's too foggy out for the light, and they would start sounding the fog whistle. These are earplugs so that I don't damage my hearing while I do this demonstration. I'm going to warn our friends down on the beach, although it doesn't look like there are very many. We just want to make sure if there's anyone down there that they know that we are going to be sounding this fog whistle. Sounding the fog whistle! Sounding the fog whistle! Good, my voice is starting to go. That's all right. So it just turned to the next minute. I'll give us another 60 seconds, and then I will let you know when the whistle is about to go off. I'll try to count down for you, all right? So remember, our pattern is 5 seconds of noise, followed by 17 seconds of silence, another 5 seconds of noise, 33 seconds of silence, and then to transition to the next minute, we will be doing another 5 seconds of noise. If you have any questions, please wait until the end of the demonstration, just so that we can make sure all of our timing is as exact as we can get it here. All right? You may film the demonstration, but just be aware that it is going to be quite loud. So we have about 20 seconds left here. Everyone enjoying their visit to Old Mackinac Point Lighthouse today?
Yes.
Good. Now we got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's our first blast. Now we wait 17 seconds before we do our next one.
Mine's not that loud.
Need that on my car.
5, 4, 3, 2. And now we're in that 33-second period where it would be building up steam again for that next minute. When they were firing it for a week straight, we believe that they would have been alternating the use of those boilers to make sure that nothing was going to break down on them. So we got about 15 seconds here before our final blast of the day. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's our fog whistle.
That was cool.
So how far out could that generally be heard?
You can hear it across the Straits of Mackinac on a
Meaning
clear day.
on the Upper Peninsula?
You can hear it over on Mackinac Island, absolutely.
Wow.
If you know to listen for it, you can absolutely hear it out that way. In the fog, the sound actually travels further than it does on a clear day, so you can hear it much farther away.
How often do you do your demonstration?
4 times a day at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock.
If we're on the island, we can listen for it.
Yes.
So if you're in a ship and you can't see the lighthouse. How do they judge from the foghorn how far they're away from the shore?
The captains are just very good at doing that.
Okay.
It's a very specialized skill that they
They
have.
know where the stop button is.
Yeah, exactly.